Previously on the Frontier Farmer. Bread dough, launch that into the oven to bake, and then we can get the cookie dough loaded as well. They are going to be cooking low and slow, and whilst they are, we can get busy cutting some trees down. We have cleared this area, and I've got the last 5 logs laid up now. But this area is going to be good for us to mow up and drilling some oats because our horses are going to need it. I think up the top of the hill here is where we are going to put our watchtower. And there it is, sitting proudly. We can certainly see a good amount from up here. And there we go. We've got some more sheds constructed. 5 loaves of bread out of that. And our cookies. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. We are now in March, and winter is nicely behind us, thank goodness. I've just been chatting to Tim this morning because I was giving him a heads up. We are going to be mowing this area next to him, which we cleared out. We cut down all the trees and got them delimbed and the stumps cut away and moved it all into the wood storage yard. So yeah, we have got this area to turn into a field. So we're going to mow it up, windrow it, and come and collect the bales. I don't think I'm going to make hay. I'm just going to get grass bales, which will benefit our sheep. And then we can turn this into a field. And it's March, so we can drill oats, which is pretty handy because our horses need oats. Tim is busy working in the sawmill as per usual. We've got quite a few wood chips stocked up. Gonna have to do a little run to get that all sold at some point. But luckily we've also been baking quite a lot of bread and cookies still. So let's take a look in here. And yeah, we've got our next batches ready. Cookies and bread. So that's kept us well fed over the winter. But yeah, we can keep on producing. And if we've got enough, we can probably sell, which is good. Right, I need the International so we can get the mowers attached. And probably a good opportunity for me to give the cows some TMR. We can start up and give the cows a dose of TMR. We will have to do another portion of TMR at some stage, but they've got enough for now. Right, let's head over, get the mowers. Okay, we can grab the front mower and the rear mower. There we go. And we won't be needing the tedder today because we're not making hay. Only low quality grass anyway, so just makes sense that we save one job and just windrow it and make some grass bales. The plan is I'm going to be buying a new baler today. We'll be swapping out the old smaller Fortrit one we've got for something a little bit bigger, and it's going to give us a chance to test it out for when we've got our 2 other grass fields ready. Right, so we're going to need to unfold this rear section. We can get switched on and we can lower away. There we go. We are in a mowing. So I'm going to get this all cut and I'll see you when we're finished. And there we go, just tidied up the last slithers with the front mower, which is pretty handy. So that's all nicely mowed. We can get the mowers parked away and grab the windrower. Drop the rear one and the front one. And we might as well just have the tedder on the front so we don't have to drop it down. But we can run the windrower on the back still, which is quite handy. Alright, let's head on over so we can get this all swathed. Oh, the luxury of having a front hydraulic. Makes life a little bit easier and means we can run a much wider mower. Right, we are at the field, so we can get our Rostelmash windrower unfolded. We've done this a couple of times now. No need to switch it on, we just lower away. And we are making some grass swath. And we're going to come along and bale this. Probably not going to make too many bales if we do get a bigger baler, but nonetheless it's going to give some grass for our sheep, and we like to make use of as much as possible on the frontier homestead because you never know when you might be running low on something, so it always makes sense to make use of the materials you've got. So we are going to have some grass bales to accompany our hay bales. Right, let's get this all windrowed, and then we can come along and get it baled, but not before we buy our new baler. And there we go. Just did the headland at the end as well to make sure there's a good distinguishing factor between the rows and the headland. So we can get the windrower parked up and also drop the tedder off. And then we'll be taking the baler to sell. And I've got a new one in mind that I have seen at the distribution centre. It's bigger and better, so that's really going to benefit the homestead. That's everything dropped off. We can pull up and get the baler. And it is a bit sad to let this go, but it is a small baler, so given its use to the homestead, it is now time for us to upgrade and get something bigger. So let's head over to the distribution centre. Spring is definitely in the air in the dark forest. Drop the baler around here to sell. So we got about 8,000 for selling the old baler, and with that we are going to help the purchase of this New Holland D1000. Takes 95 horsepower to run, but it is going to make bales of a considerable larger size. But yeah, I think this is going to suit the homestead well as a baling upgrade. But it's a bit expensive, 18,420, but we can manage it. And I think it's our first New Holland piece of equipment on the homestead. And it's got a nice strip of red which matches the International quite nicely. It is of course the yellow brand, but that's alright. I think it's going to suit us just okay. Got it hitched up successfully. So let's head on back. I think we've got a beacon on this one as well. Lovely. Now we can scoot straight over to the field to get started. Let's beacon off. We can get unfolded, which yeah, I think is just going to lower the tray out to the back so the bales can deposit. That's quite a nice long tray there. It's going to nicely just lower the bales onto the ground, which is handy. So let's get this switched on and the pickup lowered and see about getting our bales started. Let's head in and start collecting up some swath. Fantastic. So yep, these are just grass bales. So they're only going to be destined for the sheep. But that's okay. We have 2 fields in the future, which are probably going to be ready around April time, and we'll have to inspect when they are ready for us to come along and bale some hay. Just a bit of clean-up operation from the small bits that we missed. We can turn that off and raise the pickup, not fold it, and get these last 2 bales dropped off. Fantastic. Right, now we can fold away, and I think that's done a good job. Apart from my trickiness in negotiating the field, I think we managed to bale that up quite well, and we got quite a few bales there. I didn't count them up, but we will have to come and clear them. So I'm thinking we will get the flatbed trailer for the truck, which I've actually parked away in the shed. It is next to the truck over there, and that's probably where we can load our bales. In fact, I don't know, maybe we'll actually just get the dollied trailer that we had the bales on previously. That is in the animal farm. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be alright. Should be able to stack them alright on there. We can park away our baler, our brand new baler, and done quite well on its first debut. But yeah, got a bit of practice now and seeing how it works, and that's going to set us up nicely for when we've got our 2 fields, field 3 and 4, ready to mow, probably in next month. Possibly. We will check. Alright, that is unhitched. So it looks like field 4 is at ready to harvest, but I think that's at the lower stage of being ready to harvest. Whereas field 3 is still showing harvested, so I don't think that's actually grown at all. This is probably the first month where it's going to grow. So we might have to keep that until later in the year, but at least we'll be able to harvest field 4 next time and re-drill that with a crop that we need for the new year. Right, with the baler parked off, I'm thinking about how we can load up those bales. And it would be nice if we could get a front loader on the tractor. I'm just going to see what options we've got. It does look like we can get a front loader attacher for $1,500, so we're going to purchase that. And there it is. But we do need to go and purchase an actual front loader arm. So we'll go back to the distribution centre and pick that up. So that turned out to be not a very fruitful visit. There's nothing really that fits well with the front loader attachment, and nothing that matches the International nicely enough. So I've had a bit of a think, and I think that we can utilise our skid steer to do the bale loading, and that will give it another purpose as well. So we can park up the International for now and take this front loader off. There we go, that's removed, and I've added a nice plate on there, homestead. Fantastic. Right, let's get this parked up, and we can grab the skid steer and see about getting an attachment for bale loading. There we go. Let's see if we can find something suitable. There we go, $400. We can pick up this Massey Ferguson matching bale spear. Sounds dangerous. So we will nab that, thank you very much. And despite it being different to what I'd originally planned, this I think is going to work a lot better. There we go. We've got good visibility in the skid steer, so loading bales should hopefully be fairly efficient. Made it back, and we should be able to scoot into the animal farm and pick up the trailer. Now it's almost too manoeuvrable, this. It does flick about with the slightest touch of the wheel. There we go. It has been able to attach to the trailer, and that's pretty handy. Here we go. So we've got quite a few bales to load up. I'm going to get busy with that now, and I'm sure the skid steer will prove itself once again, this time not tree cutting but bale loading. Right, let's get to it. And there we go. I think I've collected all of them, and we have 3, 6, 9, 12 bales. There we go. So we can get them lashed on. Now I did need to shove these back a little bit using all of my strength, but it has worked. So we can hop back in the skid steer, or go and latch on, hitch up to the trailer, and we can just stash this in the animal farm area, because we'll just pull the bales off and load them into the sheep pen as we need to. But yeah, this has worked pretty handily. I think the skid steer in coordination with the bale spike and the trailer has worked pretty well. It's a lot more manoeuvrable than a tractor, and certainly more manoeuvrable than a wheel loader. So for scooting into fields and grabbing the bales, it is a good option. So I think we'll look to utilise that in the future. But we might increase the size of the bales to make it a little more manageable, so we don't have bale after bale to load. Right, let's get this parked up, and then it's on to making that field a field. So we will need to grab the plough, and I'm thinking that we potentially will buy a new plough, one that's bigger, and this is the first time we'll be ploughing having had the International Harvester tractor on the homestead, so we've certainly got some more horsepower to put at play when it comes to ploughing. And I think I've spotted a decent matching plough that we could utilise for the job. Let's get this parked up here, and then skid steer parked up, and then we can go and get our plough. Yeah, we can back this all the way in and keep the bale spike attached. Hop back in the International and go and fetch our new plough. Now I'm going to keep the current plough that we have in case we want to use the Farmall or the John Deere Lands Bulldog again. Now this is the plough, a little bit different to the furrow ploughs that we have, but it's the Case IH 55 chisel plough. We've selected sweeps, which are the sort of bottom segments of each of the spines, and you can get spikes, chisels modern, or twisted shovels, but we've gone for sweeps, and we can go for 17 shanks, which makes it a little bit wider, and that's 5.2 meters, which I think is a good 2.5 meters wider than what we've currently got. And it takes 170 horsepower to run. So luckily now we can run this size of plough with our International, and it's going to match quite nicely as well. $12,000. And it certainly is a good match for the tractor. Fantastic. Can't wait to get ploughing with this. Right, and we can get started. Now this plough is a little bit easier to utilise because we don't have to worry too much about the direction that we are ploughing. So I'm just going to try and keep it fairly straight, but yet we can sort of set about a border, a boundary for us to plough to. So I'll do that to begin with. So let's lower away and we can start creating our field. Of course, stones are going to be coming up, so we'll have to come and clear those once we're done. And that was a much quicker job than when we previously ploughed. I think field 4 was the last field we ploughed. But yep, we've managed to plough that quite successfully using the new chisel plough. So the chisel plough has done a good job, made the work a lot faster, which is very nice. And it nicely matches our International tractor, and I think we have a cultivator that is very similar in style to this, so that's pretty good. Right, we'll get this parked away, and then we've got to stone pick and lime. So stone picking first, we'll grab the bucket. Look out, Artemus. I think we might have to start utilising some of our other shed space. Here we go, we can stash it next to the road making grader and roller. And at some point I'm probably going to have a bit of a yard rejig just to get everything a bit neater and in order. Right, there we go. Let's go grab the bucket. Bucket on the front. There we go. Now I'm not going to use the wheel loader bucket which we purchased for when we were making the road, because I think the wheel loader is a little bit too heavy, probably compact what we just ploughed up. So the tractor with the smaller stone pickup is probably a bit better. You can roll into the field and get the front bucket set to where it needs to be. That looks to be about right. It's not impacting the steering, but it is picking up the stones and not dropping them back on the ground. Well, that was quite quick to set up this time. Now you might notice that some of the stones have not appeared in certain sections of the field. I guess stones are a bit more prevalent closer towards the logging area, whereas into the forests they seem to be less, few and far between. But nonetheless, we'll get them all picked up, and I'll see you when we're finished. think that is the last section of stones. As mentioned, this side of the field had less stones for some reason. Don't know why. Seems to be very random. But we can raise the bucket up and get that dropped off where our stone stash is. And I can see the watchtower on the top of the hill there in the distance, keeping an eye on the homestead, keeping it safe. That is a handy watchtower to have. Bit of a lookout point for any dangers, and we built that last month. Right, let's get the stones stashed over here, and the pile is where the silage bunker is. We have got a lot of silage in here still, so that's why we've not been turning any of our grass that we've mown into silage. And you'll see field 4 just to the side of the bunker there, where the grass is at a length where we could harvest it, but we are going to let it grow for another month. And field number 3 here is where it's still looking pretty bare. It's not grown since we last mowed it over winter, so that's probably going to be ready to mow in a couple months time. So unfortunately no big mowing session where we are going to get both fields mown, but nonetheless we have got a good supply of hay and grass coming in for our animals, which is pretty good. Right, time to drop the bucket off, and then we can get on to liming. And for liming, I think we are going to make yet another upgrade. We're going to buy a bigger lime spreader, or fertilizer spreader, but one that is capable of carrying a lot more lime, because we seem to run out of it quite rapidly. Now our spreader is behind the hoe, so we'll have to move that out. And the plan is, while I'm down at the distribution centre swapping over the spreader, I am going to get some more lime, so I'll need the big bag lifter, and I've just fetched the big bag lifter from behind the baler. So let's go swap our spreader over and get some big bags of lime. And as an upgrade, we are going to get a towed spreader, and this can take 5,000 litres, so much bigger than the previous, and it can spread 18 metres. And it can do both fertilizer and lime, so it might not spread lime 18 meters, but it will be a little bit bigger, hopefully. There we go, 7,500. 2 big bags of lime for 700. Oh, there we go, we can pick up our big bags. And it is very nice to be able to upgrade the equipment quite frequently as we go, and as the homestead grows. It is very nice. Alright, let's fetch the other big bag, and we can raise it up. There we go, a bit heavy on the front. It should be combated by this spreader. Now, one thing I've thought to do is to load the spreader whilst we're down here. So we've got 4,000 litres in there, which I think is about 85% capacity for it. So let's head on back to the homestead. We can drop these lime bags off at the commodity storage yard. And then we can get on to lime spreading, and then it will be hopefully drilling if we've got time. Right, we've made it back, and oh yeah, Barkamus just happens to be in the way of where we need to go. Look out, Barkamus. We need to get our lime unloaded. So hopefully I should, yeah, there we go, we can see the lime depositing in there. Both big bags, so an extra 4,000 litres going in the commodity storage. So both unloaded. I think Barkamus is very curious about the new lime spreader. But we'll get the big bag lifter dropped off over here. And then I think we'll load up another 1,000 litres in the spreader. There we go. Right, we should be able to head over and start spreading now. And I'm hoping that this spreader might last the full range of the field. We normally run out and have to do a refill, but this has got 5,000 litres, so I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to spread it in one. But we will see. We'll have to test the distance that it can reach with lime. So let's head on in here. We'll do the headland and then break into rows. So we have to unfold the slider door, which is going to manage the control of the spreader. And I think we can turn on. But then we need to lower to start it spreading. There we go. Oof. Better get off and stop a big pile of lime assembling. There we go. We've got a good width on this. So I'm going to get this all spread, and I'll see you when we're done. Lime off, and there we go. We have spread that field all nicely. We can get the slider door closed once more, and I think I did, well yes I definitely did, because it was a bit deliberate. Spread some lime on Tim's lovely larder. Oh yeah, oh, made his tyres a little bit dirty. Hope he's not going to mind. I think we can get the spreader parked up over here, but I will probably move it again to reorganise the yard, make sure everything's in a decent place. There you go, that's dropped off. Now I'm thinking this area is going to be for more of the bulkier equipment, and the area where we've got full sheds already is where the smaller implements are going to go. Alright, last job of the day is grabbing the seed drill, and we're going to get some oats in, because yep, you might have heard the neigh there. Our horses are getting a bit peckish and they are running low on oats, and I'm hoping that we're not going to have to go and purchase some oats to keep them fed, but we may well have to, because oats aren't going to be ready till later in the year. I'm hoping that we might be able to grow them and harvest them quick enough to supply to the horses. We're going to have a nice big field full of oats, so we'll get oats selected. I don't know what we can call this field. Obviously this is new field. I don't want to keep numbering them because it would be number 5, but we've got rid of field 1 and 2, so I'm going to adjust the numbers slightly. So maybe we'll call this Burr field because it's near Tim Burr's shed. But let's get this lowered. I think we've got enough seed and fertilizer, so we can get to drilling. And this is a direct drill, so it's not going to matter if we're going over areas that are ploughed or ploughed state, even though our stone picker can sort of change it to a cultivated state. We didn't have stones to collect everywhere, so it didn't change it everywhere. But yeah, we can get our oats nicely drilled in. So I'm going to get busy, and I'll see you when we're all finished. And there we are, oats nicely drilled in, and we didn't have to refill with seed and fertilizer, and we've only dropped to about 50-40% for each, so that's pretty good. And I look forward to oats being ready so we can feed our horses. We can get the seed drill parked back up where it came from because there's a good amount of space in that shed. And I think that is probably it for today. We've ticked into 4 o'clock now. There we go, nicely parked off. And to end the day, we can just give the cows a little bit more TMR just to keep them healthy and happy. So here is our latest field, field, which has got oats in it and they are growing, which is really nice. And I think, yes, they are primary level fertilized, so we will have to probably manure spread them next time. In fact, we could have probably manure spread them before drilling, but that's not too much of an issue. Super job. And we've got plenty of grass to keep our sheep happy, and in fact I think they are multiplying because that is more than what we bought. so we are going to have to keep them well stocked. But that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching. I think next time we are going to hopefully have a field to mow and turn into hay, and we'll use our fantastic new baler once more. And then yes, we'll see about getting Burfield manure spread so the oats are fully fertilized for when they are grown. But yeah, if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. If you enjoyed watching, then remember to like and subscribe. All there's left to say is I hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer, and until then, I'll catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.